Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the studio. We're going to make sure that we're actually live here. Looks like YouTube says going live. Yay. Good morning, everybody. It is good to see you. All right. Now I can close that. Happy Monday. You guys ready to talk about everything that's going on in classes? All right, I've got a handful of new people that have joined us in March multimedia classes. And so I just want to welcome them. This is your first video that you're getting from me. You get this every single Monday. And it's just a chance for you to hear about what's going on behind those classroom doors. Because if you got kids like mine, you say, what do you do in art class? And they're like, art. So this is a chance for me to be able to show you what we're doing. Sometimes there's pictures in the slideshow. Sometimes I actually have in-progress work from the classes that I can grab and show you. Obviously, this is the first video of the month, and so I don't have anything in progress to show you, but I did bring some instructor examples to give you an idea of what we're going to be making this month in those multimedia classes. And if you're not in a multimedia class, if you're in a preschool class, or if you're in a drawing class, I'm trying to think if we had any new people start in preschool. I know we didn't have any new people start in drawing classes because we'll talk about why, but might have some new preschoolers. We still talk about those classes and what you guys are doing. A lot of times I'll use pictures in the videos rather than showing artwork because it's such a process-based class. And the same thing with our creative explorations classes. So let's, I got different parts. I've always got notes. If you're catching the replay, you guys can look at the timestamps and just watch the about your class, about what your kids are learning. If you do that though, make sure you also watch the intro. I try to keep it short, but I am kind of wordy. And always watch the housekeeping. Okay, so in the intro section, the only note I had was that everybody has class this week. So there isn't any class that has a weird off day. Everyone has class this week. We will not have any of those weird off days until we get to the Friday before spring break, and then the week of spring break. So we'll talk about that when we get to housekeeping, but there's nothing going on in terms of weird stuff this week. Sound good? Let's move on. Starting with those preschool classes. So my Friday preschool classes started March last week, and that's going to kind of be a theme for the entire month when we talk about what classes are doing. Friday classes are a week ahead because March 1st was a Friday. So they actually already started their March classes. Friday classes in Liberty this week, we'll do a different lesson Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So let's start with those Monday, Tuesday, Thursday classes. You guys are beginning your March curriculum. The overarching theme of the month is out of this world. And we're going to look at surrealism and the art of Salvador Dali. And all the books that we read deal with kind of a world different than the one that we live in. So something imaginary or something like where the first book is Rainbow Fish, right? So it's underwater. It's a different world than ours. And then our media focus for the month is mixed media. So just like what our big kids are doing is mixed media artwork. You're going to see a lot of printing techniques in the March curriculum for preschool. And that's because when we first opened in 2014 until about 2016, I believe, we had the 2 months flipped and we did printmaking in February and we did mixed media in February and printing in March. And we have since flipped that in the multimedia curriculum, but we haven't really flipped it in the preschool curriculum because it works. So, but anyway, so you'll see lots of printing, and that's okay too, because we love to print. Okay. So Monday and Tuesday and Thursday classes, you guys are reading Rainbow Fish. You're going to do some bubble printing using bubble wrap. And then you're going to do a second layer on top of that, which is a relief print using the foam that our K1s used in their class last month. So we've got foam fish shapes that they'll draw on to create their printing plate, get to roll ink on that and print that on top of their bubble background. So, and then my Friday classes, I always have to refer to my notes, you guys, so I don't mess this up. So if I look down, that's what I'm doing. My Friday classes are reading The Lorax, which is always a favorite book because a lot of the kids have seen the movie. So we'll read The Lorax. It's also a long book. So we'll read that one. We're going to make some truffula art trees, like a mixed media piece. And then The Arrival actually works with the art of Salvador Dali and doing some of his long-legged creatures that look like elephants. You guys know which one I'm talking about? If not, you will when you come to class. So they're going to use plasticine clay to make these imaginary creatures. Multimedia classes starting with K first, second, third, and K third classes. So you guys are starting your mixed media artworks. If you're unfamiliar with mixed media, all it is more than one technique or medium combined into one piece of artwork. So it's a very, very broad category. We are working with two-dimensional mixed media for all of our projects. They are very collage heavy and very paint and print heavy. So our first ones for our K through, oh, and of course it's green. I hate when I have green art because of my green screen. But our first one for our K first, second, third, and K thirds is a dimensional collage using birds as our subject. So their birds could be very realistic, like this one that was made by one of our instructors, or their birds can be very fanciful. It could be a fantasy style bird. The bird shapes are already somewhat cut out because it's just easier for little hands to not have to cut corrugated cardboard. But they can trim and reshape as much as they want to. They can fringe it, they can paint it, they can print it. This one doesn't have anything crazy on it, but we do have feathers, we have pom-poms, we have glitter, we have yarn and ribbon and all sorts of additives once we get the painting stuff done. So their first step in their birds, we will start this week, and that will be getting cardboard pieces painted. So it's just all about painting, getting texture and prints on there. We've got kind of our odd painting tools that we used in it'll be very familiar with this group because we did those giant abstract paintings. And so using the odd painting tools will be very familiar for them. That was in January, so it wasn't even that long ago. So they'll get these painted so that way they can dry and we can start doing the cutting and the collaging and the assemblage in the following 2 weeks. The goal for this entire month is to get our artwork done in 3 weeks. And so in that 4th week, which is spring break, we can do a station-based class. We can do maybe some artist statements or some art show prep, or and we can still finish some projects, but we would really love to be pretty much done with them in 3 weeks. So that 4th class, because we know attendance will be down, we can use that for other stuff. Okay. We do recommend, because we're using acrylic paint this week, make sure that you're wearing your art clothes because this stuff isn't washable. For my 4th and 5th and my homeschool classes, you guys are doing note-and designs. And so this is a 12 by 12 piece of mixed media paper. And it has a taped resist border. It's 2 layers. The first is a scrape painted background. It has some green in it, so it's not showing up great, but it's done with neon paints. And it is scrape painted using painting cards or squeegee, or whichever kind of tool that they want. And then the collage on top is just black paper. It deals with positive and negative space and balance. Okay, so they'll do their note-and designs. They're going to learn about the concept of note-and that kind of like balance and composition, and then they'll put it into their picture. First step, scrape painting, and they'll play with note and designs. They won't actually do the one on here. We've got some smaller colored squares that they'll play with. Okay. Their paint is washable, so it's a washable tempera. I mean, it's still a good idea to wear art clothes because if you're coming in after a K through 3rd grade class, there will be acrylic paint out for their class, and sometimes it's on the table. So even though your paint is washable, we recommend definitely wearing art clothes to the building this week. Okay. My 6th, 7th, and my 8th through 12th grade classes. Okay, so you guys have also, oops, I just knocked myself in the vase. Also a collage project, and it is a lot. 1, it is big. 2, it is 3 layers of big. So you're gonna do big art 3 times and then put it together. So this is a lot of painting, a lot of coverage. I feel like that's kind of a theme of our year for this group is we're like, hey, your project's going to take a long time. You're going to have to get in and get to work. We have bit off a lot for them this year, and they've really stepped up. We're so proud of them. So this will be another one that they just have a lot of creation time in the demand for this project. So this is an onomatopoeia. So we're looking at word art. We're looking at text. They're going to have to play with shapes and graphics and then color. So this is, they will pick their word, whether it's pop or boom or splat or pow or wow or buzz or some sort of onomatopoeia. They will choose the lettering style that they want to use. they'll get it sketched out, they'll get it painted, and then they'll also choose their two background shapes, which are separate layers, and they have like a foam spacer in them so that it actually has some dimension to it. It's all painted on that same multimedia paper, so a little bit like almost like a cardstock, heavier duty. So it has some dimension to it. This also uses printing and painting techniques, which great because we've already done printing and painting month in January and February. So we'll use those techniques to create our collage art. We're adding in a drawing element as well with the word art. This week they're going to design and start painting. Next week we're going to hope that we finish painting, just because it's so much coverage that has to happen. We're going to learn some distressing techniques and some like dry brushing techniques, which we would have used in October when we did clay. So we'll revisit those on week 2. Okay, so those are our mixed media projects for our middle school and our high school kids. I'm gonna check my notes and make sure that I'm still doing okay. Note for you guys, this is also not a washable paint. This is acrylic paint, so please make sure that you wear your art clothes to the studio, okay? All right. Your creative explorations classes. So this is a process-based class that combines all of the curriculums, combines the drawing as well as the preschool, as well as the multimedia. And so we've got creative stations here. Again, the Friday classes are a week ahead. So Friday's Liberty class already did 1 week of this stuff. The favorite was I've got things in the wrong place, I think. I don't know. The favorite was the paper. It's supposed to be, I don't know, sensory. I don't know. Paper strips and staplers was definitely the favorite. That's not a still life station. I know that was a favorite. I saw all the pictures, and we've got a beautiful paper chain going around the top of our building right now, that large classroom that this group has created, which is kind of cool. Lots of painted paper. Their artists are Henry Matisse and Eric Carl. Later Matisse works, I don't know if you know this, later Matisse works were done using collage techniques, where he would paint paper and then cut it out and then collage that paper into his artwork. He called it painting with scissors. Eric Carl is an illustrator, a contemporary illustrator who wrote like Very Hungry Caterpillar. He also makes his illustrations using painted paper collage. And so we got a lot of that in our curriculum, and as an opportunity to explore. The collaborative vertical painting is a throw to Henry Matisse, because the story is when he was sick and in the hospital, he would paint on his ceiling with a large stick. So he put the paper up there and then lay down, because he was bedridden, and he would paint his papers on ceiling with a really long stick. And then he would have his assistant cut them out, and then he could collage them. So anyway, so that's why we're painting with long sticks for our collaborative vertical. It is not on the ceiling, it is on the wall, because the ceiling's really high. My drawing classes. Now I really only have one slide and I don't have anything up here. The drawing classes are different this month, every single one of them. If you're in 101, if you're in 102, or if you're in 103, everybody's is different. So we're going to talk 101 and 102 first, because 103 is always different. But you guys are working all month long on showcase pieces. So think of our mixed media classes. They work for 4 weeks on one project, right? They're going to work for 4 weeks on this guy. That's 4 hours worth of time spent. You get rid of like arrival time and community time and warm-up time. Like maybe it's not 4 hours, maybe it's 2.5 or 3 hours, but it's still a decent chunk of time. My drawing classes come and their goal is never a finished piece of art. So when you come for drawing 101 or come for drawing 102, the goal is to explore something, or to learn something, or to practice a skill, whether it's a new skill or one that you've seen before. It's your weekly drawing workout, right? It's not finished artwork. And when you're doing it in your journal, not on like a separate sheet of paper that we could put in a frame. This month is the month that we do that. So we're going to take all those things we learned, all of those lessons in contour and line and shape and perspective and scale and value, everything we've been working on, and we're going to showcase those skills. So there is no lessons this month for drawing classes. I want you to think of them as like semi-private lessons instead of a class. So we're not coming in the building with like, okay, guys, here's what we're going to learn today, and here's the exercise we're all going to do. But rather, we're going to say, we're going to work all month long on a showcase piece, whether that goes into the art show or not, it doesn't matter, but we're still going to work on a showcase piece. We're going to show off everything we've learned in drawing classes. The kids will get to pick their subject. And so if you've done classes for a little while, you're not going to come in and be like, here's your subject, it's a vase of flowers, or here's your subject, it's a box of candy, or here's your it's not going to be like that. Kids are going to have to choose their subject. So if they love what's something Miss Allison loves, I love underwater things. So if I was going to make a picture and I'm like, you know what, I really want my subject to be for my art show, I want it to be an octopus, right? So I choose my subject and then I research my subject. So you have to decide, are you going to draw from life? Are you going to draw from photo? Or are you going to draw from your imagination? Those are the three ways that we draw, right? I don't have an octopus to look at from life. So I only have two choices, right? I guess maybe I could go to the aquarium, but not during class. So I would draw from photograph probably because I don't do well from my imagination. So now I have to research. I have to look up pictures of octopus, and maybe I'm going to look at more than one and then create my own from my imagination. But I have to do that research. We'll have time in class to do that. We've got computers to do that. We'll look up Google Images. We'll print things off. So they have to come up with their subject. They'll have to do their research. They'll have to do some brainstorming and sketching. We're going to talk a lot about composition. Does my octopus go really little on a landscape? So if I've got a picture like this and I put my octopus right here, or do I go like this and he takes up the whole page? There's not a right or a wrong way. They're just different. And so I have to decide my composition. I have to pick my medium. So we're always going to do a drawing medium. It's not going to be like, I would like to do watercolors, Allison. No, this is drawing class. And so they'll pick their drawing medium, anything that we've used in class in the past. So if they like the glass pens, we can use glass pens. If they liked the white charcoal, we can use white charcoal on black paper. We can use chalk pastel. We can use colored pencil. They can use charcoal. They can use graphite. They can use alcohol ink markers. All of those mediums that we've been using in class for the last year, each child will get to choose their media, and then we're going to work from like start to finish all the way to completion till the end of the month. So it's a really exciting month because there's so many choices for the artists to get to make. In the first class, it'll all be like talking, brainstorming, and sketching. They will not start their actual piece this week. Now, this week is all about decision making and prepping and researching and then like sketching things out, because especially in our younger classes, we want them to draw practice one. So that way we can then have a discussion on composition. We might draw 3 practice ones in 3 different compositions and then pick our favorite and then go to the final piece of artwork. So it's really a process. I'm excited to teach it to them. They will go all the way through to a finished piece of art. And then we'll do their artist statement, which is something the drawing classes are probably not real familiar with. But if you're in a multimedia class, you do fill out an artist statement every single month. So we'll get all the way to the end in the showcase. Their drawing will go into a mat to finish it, and then it will go home. Now, if you would like to put that in the art show, you can. And if you're like, no, I've got a watercolor painting I did at school that I would like to put in the art show, that's fine too. Either way, we're going to do a showcase piece this month. So, drawing 101, drawing 102, that's your plan. My 103 people, this is really what you've been doing the entire year. The difference is this month, you get to pick your subject and you get to pick your medium. That's the biggest difference. So if you have any questions about that, you're in a drawing class and you're like, I just don't understand what's going on in class, let us know. Okay, I'm happy to chat with you about it. Okay, housekeeping things that we need to talk about. So first things first is the art show. So this is coming up here on April 21st. It's a Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. It is at the Belvoir Winery. We have rented out the second floor ballroom. It is, so it's indoors. We're not temperature dependent or weather dependent this year, which I'm really excited about. We don't have to worry about wind. We are able to go out on the grounds. We'll still have, or if you want to go out and kick a soccer ball around or throw a football, if you bring a, something, you can still run and be outside, come up to the show. Hopefully the weather is nice. We'll have some, cake and punch type receptions. Probably won't be cake, but something like that. Small little snacky stuff. And then non-alcoholic beverages, complimentary in the building. And then if you would like something else, there is a full bar available because it's winery. So you're welcome to do that. We won't have an awards presentation. The awards will already be on the artwork. And we have double the amount of awards that we're giving. So it is different. I'll get that up on the website here probably tomorrow so you can see, but we're changing our awards categories in order to give more awards. And also to give the categories an apples to apples comparison instead of an apples to oranges. If you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about, don't worry about it. I'll get it up on the website. The submission process is going to be a little bit different this year, where you're going to actually do your submission form online instead of a paper form. That makes my life easier, because then when I print gallery tags, I'm not doing data entry, right? I'm just exporting from a Google Drive into a label like template, right? So doing a kind of a mail merge be a lot easier that way. And we will have some appointments starting in April. So this is not, submission process won't start till like April, but we'll have some appointments so that if you're like, I cannot do this with my kid because I don't know what to do, and I would really like an instructor to work with them on getting their artwork submitted, we'll have appointments, like you can book an appointment with me, and for 10-15 minutes, and I will sit down with your kid and we'll get their artwork submitted. So anyways, everybody can put in one piece. If you're a preschooler, if you're a toddler, everybody can put in a piece. Okay. And then if you're a high school senior, you can put in a piece, and you're judged by your peers. So we've got grade categories as well as media categories. So yeah, lots of good stuff happening on there. And if you have questions, let me know. The next thing is spring break classes. So looking ahead to spring break, almost everybody that I researched school-wise has spring break, March 25th through March 29th. Now there might be an exception, but all the big ones that I looked at, that was everybody's spring break. So when I say spring break, that's the week I'm talking about, the 25th to the 29th. It's the 4th week of March. We have drawing classes and we have multimedia classes that day, all those days. So if you come to a Thursday drawing class or a Monday K first class, you've got class that week. If you come to a creative explorations class, or if you come to a preschool class, preschool fundamentals or toddler, we do not have classes that week. All right. Creative explorations and preschool classes only meet 3 times a month, so we're able to take our spring break week off, whereas our other classes meet 4 times a month, and if we don't meet on spring break, we can't get 4 classes in. So that's why we meet during spring break. If you cannot come, that is why we're trying to get projects mostly wrapped up before that class. And so that the only thing we have left to do is maybe artist statements, maybe putting a mat on things, maybe the last step of assemblage, something like that. But we're going to try to get as far as we can prior to that week, so that during that week, we can do more mixed media stations and exploration, as well as art show prep. So that's that story. I guess what I'm saying is, if you're going to miss spring break classes, there's a chance you might not have to make it, because we might be able to get your project done in 3 weeks. We'll see. And then the last is just a registration reminder for summer. If your studio club, your registration opened on Friday. I think I have an email going out to all studio club members on Wednesday. And so just a reminder that you can sign up now. Make sure you're logged into your account when you're doing that, because otherwise, if it doesn't recognize you as you cannot sign up. Make sure you're signed in. If that doesn't work, let me know and we'll troubleshoot together. If you are not a studio club member, you don't have much longer to wait. You're down to about 11 days. And then registration opens for you guys. And nothing is full. Nobody stress out. Nothing is full. Plenty of room for everyone. All right. Those are all my notes, you guys. I hope everybody has a wonderful week, first week of March. And if you need anything, you know where to find me. Have a great one. I'll see you in the studio.